Here's the Lou. All right, folks, we've got 10 o'clock. Today is Wednesday, July 6th. We're here for another beautiful webinar Wednesday. And we've got our special guest, Mr. Shawn Evans here joining us from Austin, Texas, from A-tex Family Fun Center. We've also got Mr. Steve Resigno here joining us as a special guest. So we've really got a great cast of folks here today, and we're going to hear a little bit from Shawn today about his experience using Lou. You've been live now, Shawn, with Lou since what, February? Is that correct?
February 1st, 2022. Yes.
Awesome. And you've got some top 3 favorite features, and we've got a couple of questions we want to go through over with you. So honestly, before we get started, just like everything else, I want to let everybody know at home that we do have this meeting. It'll be recorded. So if you do need a copy of today's webinar, by all means, just let us know. Reach out to us at lou@evasys.com, and we'll email you a copy of today's webinar. But without further ado, Shawn, I think we're really excited to hear a little bit about A-tex, the Family Fun Center, how you heard about Lou, and we'll talk about some of your favorite features. But before we get too far into it, why don't you go ahead and share a little bit about yourself with us?
Okay, great. Yeah, thanks for having me. So yeah, my name is Shawn Evans. I'm the operations manager with A-tex Family Fun Center, located in Austin, Texas. Business has been around since 1973. We're up to 4 locations now. So we've been here for quite a while. I joined the company in the fall of 2000 and was here until 2012 before I followed my wife, then girlfriend, up to the Pacific Northwest and started working for a company by the name of Oregon Hot Tub. That was actually where I got introduced to Evasys and working with their legacy software feature. Worked for Oregon Hot Tub for about 4.5 years before my wife's job took us to Denver, Colorado, where I spent a few years working for Pool Corp. And then back in 2021, after the pandemic and all of our businesses starting to see growth and increase in sales, the owner of A-tex talked me into moving my family back to Austin to come on board and to help him grow the business and to bring on certain processes and features, one of those being Lou.
Right on. Well, Shawn, I'm really excited to have you here today and hear what you have to say about Lou. I actually had the honor and privilege of working with you at that company, Oregon Hot Tub. So, dude, you are a sharp dude. I watched you come into that company, take over sales. You moved into ops. We had a lot of growth during that, multiple locations. We were absolutely using the Evasys legacy software back then. And man, it was heartbreaking for me to watch you go to Colorado to pursue that dream. But really excited to be back here with you today. And thank you so much for being part of this.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Good to see you.
A lot of zigzagging, but ultimately you came back full circle to join Steve.
I did.
Here, join us.
I did.
Awesome. So I want to get kicked off with talking about your top 3 favorite Lou features. And what we have here is your number 3 favorite feature is the simplicity of your point of sale workflow. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer our camera over here to our point of sale machine, and I'll kind of let you and Steve chat about that efficiency and why you see the benefit of it, and I'll kind of do a little demo walkthrough while folks are watching.
Great.
Right. So Shawn, you know this, having multiple locations, multiple users, multiple salespeople, lineup of customers. We dealt with it over the years where they don't put in the right part number, the right SKU. You're dealing with a lot of stuff on the back end. So tell us how you find Lou, the POS pack system here in Lou, to be really user-friendly and beneficial to you guys there at A-tex.
Well, prior to having Lou on board, we were using about the oldest form of over-the-counter transactions, as you can imagine. Literally registers that were purchased from Walmart or Costco, and everything in the store had to be priced with price stickers. And so everything was just manual entry. But having 4 locations spread apart throughout the metro area, not everybody was always on board or on the same page when it came to pricing and how much things were sold for.
For sure.
So that has been huge in keeping us all on the same page, making sure that we're pricing and we're selling our things consistent from one location to the next. Because, some shoppers of ours will go from one store to the next, and they would actually bring it to our attention that, oh, this is for a different price at your other store in North Austin. Why am I paying more down here? And it was just user error, the communication of getting those price changes down the line. So what the PAX machine allows us to do is all be on the same page, all be ringing things up for the same price. And when price changes do occur, that's something that can be edited quickly on the back end, rather than an email needing to go out across the company and managers having to tell their salespeople and then pulling all those price tags off the product and then putting new price tags on. It just saves a lot of time.
Yeah. So Andrew's over here demonstrating something. So he's scanning an item, shows up on the screen. He scans another item, shows up on the screen.
What we did was we just went through a quick transaction. I don't know if folks can hear me. So I walked us through a quick general transaction. Super simple, straightforward. You scan your items or you choose from your quick add SKUs and you complete your transaction. You take your payment, it prints your receipt, and you can hand it off to your customer right there. Now, what I'm going to show you now is, imagine you've got, a busy Saturday morning and you've got a lot of folks in line and somebody forgets their wallet. We get their transaction completed and they forget their wallet. They need to go run out to their car to get it taken care of. So you don't necessarily have to cancel the transaction out. What you can do is just place it on a quick hold, just pushing this hold button right here. And then of course, at this point, it takes you back to your standard login screen. So you can basically log in and complete different transactions while that order is being held without deleting it. And then once your customer gets back,
they come back, we log in,
log back in, we go to
pickup, brings up
our
that
transaction right here.
There it is.
And they've got their wallet this time.
There we go.
And
Now we're going to,
all the details are there the same. You just go ahead and hit pay again. Same concept. We'll do the card.
quick credit card, dip the card. Man, out comes a receipt. Super quick, super easy. Love it. Is that how you find it to work for you, Shawn?
Yeah, exactly. And inventory is instantly subtracted from the store. And so now we have real time look at what products are in our store, what we're getting low on, what we need to order, as opposed to somebody manually walking through the back stock area, trying to write down, what they think we might need.
That's dangerous.
Yeah.
You end up with a lot of dollars of inventory in that process,
We do.
don't you?
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, that's a great number 3, but we're going to move on to number 2 now. And this is actually in Lou Web now. So the customer database, customer quick search, searching by name, updating customer information. Talk to me about why that's your number 2, or talk to us about why that's your number 2 favorite feature in Lou.
Well, again, going to prior of having Lou, we were doing things probably the same way we did it in 1973. Handwritten sales orders, creating customer folders and jackets, putting them in file cabinets in the store. It worked well back then, but the downside was when a customer would come in and they would want to inquire about a part or a component that had something to do with the previous sale, we would have to manually go dig through filing cabinets to pull up that sales history.
Oh, man.
And what made it even worse is if the customer bought something at a completely different store and they came into your store, you didn't even have that information. So you would have to call the other store to get that information and forget about doing it on a Saturday.
Yeah, right.
No one's got the time to stop and do that for you. And now 2 people at 2 different stores are basically at a standstill, trying to figure out what this customer bought just a few years ago. So that's what I love about being able to go into this, no matter where you are. Everybody has access to the customers. Everybody has access to any estimates that are in the system, to any pending sales orders. I can sit in my office and I can look at invoices and payments to make sure that everything is taken care of on our storefront end. And then when I see discrepancies, I can easily reach out to exactly who sold the product, and get more information about why something is maybe doesn't look quite right. So it's saving us a lot of time and keeping basically our communication with each other streamlined, which in a result is a better experience for our customers when they walk in our store.
100%.
Yeah, love that about Lou. Really streamlines everything, gives you all the information at your fingertips, real time. Love that. I love that you're using it that way, Shawn.
And what's great too is I know that you mentioned the historical aspect of it when you're trying to find, maybe some of those recent transactions or recent customers that you're working with. We've recently integrated this little historical clock right here on the tile itself. So you don't even have to dive into the tile anymore with Lou. If it's somebody that you've recently worked with and you just want to grab their historical, you can look at it right here, click this little clock, and you can see your most recent customer list just right here, quickly and easily. But again, of course, our customer tile, its default is up in that top left corner of the screen, which, if we're reading in English, we start from the left to the right. The most important starts to the left and we work in logical order to the right side. And that's what we've got our customer tile doing. Same concept. It's the most important. It's our lifeblood of our businesses. So if we just choose a customer here, maybe we just jump into Joe Abel. For you folks at home that are checking this out, I mean, look at how easy to understand and review this customer profile quickly at a glance. You can see if we've got an integrated customer card on file. If you need to make any updates, like Shawn was saying, it's quick and easy to update your customers just by clicking the update button here. You can go update their pertinent information. You can confirm that their address has been validated through USPS. And you can adjust their messaging preferences, et cetera. So it really gives you quick and easy updatability with your customer profile page here. And then, of course, one thing that I love to hang our hat on here with Lou is not only do you have your customer profile information, but you've also got all these tiles that you saw on the default page, the welcome page for Lou. So you don't have to bounce back and forth from page to page when it goes into if you've got to create an estimate for this customer or create a sales or a work order. There's a lot of elimination of that back and forth. So certainly some nice benefits here, and then you can quickly move on to the next steps. Awesome. So I guess moving into the most exciting, right? Number one Lou feature that you really take advantage of is the quick skews. And so I'm going to stop sharing my screen here and we'll jump back over to the PAX machine and I'll kind of walk through as you speak to it, basically the quick add skews that we have available as a function in the point of sale machine here.
Yeah. So, there's a handful of SKUs that are an everyday purchase, bags of sand, chlorine tablets, chalk, things of that nature. And, not necessarily for the sand, but, chlorine itself, if it's something that's not carried up to the register or scannable, you can imagine going into search inventory and typing in chlorine and the number of SKUs that would come up that you would have to look through in order to put on the transaction. So with the quick SKU feature, we're able to put those items that are the most popular, make them easy to find, or for items like sand, which is outside on a pallet, you don't have to go digging through there, through the database. You just have it, just off to the side at your fingertips. So and another thing that we've done is because we're a almost 50-year-old company, there's a lot of stuff in our warehouses that has been there for quite some time, right? And not everything necessarily needed to go into our inventory database. So one thing that I did is I created a kind of a generic non-inventory quick SKU. So for those random parts that you maybe sell one every 10 years, you have the bin priced and you can easily put it in a non-inventory quick SKU item, type in the price manually, take care of the customer, quick and easy.
Super smart, big time saver, super smart. Love that.
It'll print here in a moment. It's gonna make a disturbing noise, so nobody mind it. No, no, it's actually pretty darn quiet. So awesome. So I'm glad to hear that you're using those quick SKUs. I mean, it definitely, there it goes right there. As soon as I started talking, that's the way of the world. But yeah, I'm glad you're taking advantage of the quick SKUs. Certainly a number one feature for, I'm sure, a lot of folks that are out there. Again, if you're speaking to it, those 3-inch chlorine tabs are one of the items that we've got saved as well on our demo page here. Because it is one of those things that gets probably added to a lot of those transactions, and it's just a nice value for the customer experience in your store, as well as it's easy to use for people you're training. So awesome. So we've gone through those top three. Steve, I'm probably going to let you kind of take over at this point, kind of talking to Shawn about some of these questions that we have, just because of, your prior relationship and, all that good stuff. So go for it, gents.
Yeah. So Shawn, can you describe to us a little bit about kind of how your onboarding experience with Lou went? So you decided, you and your owner decided, let's go for Lou. You signed up for Lou. How was that experience to get your data in and get set up?
There were many things that worked really well, and then there were some things that kind of took me by surprise. I took on the responsibility of kind of just doing the onboarding myself, mainly because I had worked with Oregon Hot Tub. I'd seen how their version of Legacy was set up, and I wanted to try and mimic that. And it was almost harder for me to explain it to somebody and have them do it than to just do it myself. So, but what I really wasn't prepared for, that I kind of wish I would have spent more time on, was my Skew importing and getting information from my vendors. Maybe a little naive to the thought that I could just reach out to all my vendors and they would just send me Excel spreadsheets, ready to go. And that wasn't the case. Some vendors were sending me pictures of their screens. Some vendors were sending me PDF forms. And so the information was kind of hit or miss depending on who I was talking with. Mm-hmm. But that was probably the biggest hurdle. But the support by the Lou team was fantastic. We set up a weekly meeting. We went through processes together. Any questions that I had were quickly answered by somebody who was very knowledgeable of what should be done. And so overall, it went really, really well. I think we started in October of 2021, and then we went live February 1st, 2022. So awesome. We went a little bit more than our 90-day window. But, all in all, it went pretty well.
Great. That's awesome. Glad to hear that. So when you were shopping, for a software program and prior to signing up for Lou, what were some of the items that, set the decision apart for you? Why did you choose Lou? What was behind some of that?
Well, honestly, I've been trying to get an operating system into this company for many, many years. Even while I was in Portland working at Oregon Hot Tub, I would call the owner of A-tex and tell him, you really need to check this system out from Evisys. I mean, it's made specifically for the swimming pool and hot tub industry. It does everything that you need. His hesitation has always been the investment in technology. The thought of server towers in the back room or computer systems at everybody's desk, just making that initial financial decision to bring all that equipment in is really, I think, what stopped him in his tracks.
Understandable.
But ultimately, I think what made him decide to move forward, 2020 was a huge year and the company grew. We opened up new locations and we needed to be able to service our customers faster and better. And the fact that Lou is cloud-based, not only does it do everything that we need it to do, you can do it from any computer that you want just by simply logging in and getting into your business and operating it from there. So that's ultimately what won him over. And I'm glad for it because we've really needed it in the past few years.
Yeah, nice. So I know you already touched on kind of some of your challenges with bringing in the vendor SKUs and that sort of thing, but knowing what you know now, 5 or so months since you went live, what would you do differently when setting it up?
I would have spent definitely more time on my SKU import. Mm-hmm. Because we have so many SKUs in this company, being here as long as we have, the thought was to import our most popular, import our most recent. But it were many things that were not inventoried in or not entered in the beginning have come up for sale or have been inquired by customers. And so now I find myself going in manually and creating SKUs just kind of as needed.
Mm-hmm.
So I do wish I would have spent a lot more time with my Skew importing. One thing that I've discovered, regardless of how well your vendor gives you that information, I didn't have one vendor give me barcode information.
Mm-hmm.
And so I left all of that off. And so I've spent a lot of time going back into the stores, manually entering barcode numbers so they're scannable at the PAX machine.
Mm-hmm.
So I really wish I would have spent more time doing that before onboarding, because it would have definitely made the first couple of weeks of go live much smoother for my employees in the store.
Yeah, no, totally understandable. So now that you've been live on Lou for 5 months or so, have you had the need to call our customer support? And if so, how'd that go?
We have had to call customer support for many times, honestly. Just things that we didn't understand, processes that we hadn't really talked to our employees about that came up. So yes, we've called support many times. And each time we've gotten a quick response, either with an immediate phone call after or an immediately returning an email. And what's been the best part, honestly, is even if the answer is not there immediately, they always respond quickly and let us know that, okay, we're looking into that. And then very short period of time after that, we've got our answer or we've got the support that we're looking for. And that's been the case since day one.
Right.
The day that we went live, it was all hands on deck over at Lou. And we really, really appreciated that.
Thank you for that. We'll pass that on. We got a great team here and support for sure. So what was really the biggest reason for signing up for Lou, for moving to Lou?
Well, like I said before, 2020 was a big year.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's business grew that year, including ours. And so we were opening new locations. We were bringing in new employees like myself. And the owner of the company knew that he needed to be able to service his customers better. As everybody spreads further and further apart from each other in different parts of the city or in different suburbs around Austin, we all really had to be on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
And so being able to grow like we did, being able to service our customers like we want to, you've got to have a system in place to where you can do that. So, being able to send estimates and sales orders, to share pricing information between stores. Now everybody sees the same thing and we're not all working on different playbooks.
Yeah, that's awesome. So it's great catching up with you, Shawn. I really appreciate you being here today. I miss working with you, man. I'm not going to lie. What else you got for us, Andrew?
Well, that was pretty much it. Unless you had anything in addition to share, Shawn, with us, we always appreciate having your testimonial. I mean, that's huge for a lot of the folks that are considering Lou, who are kind of, potentially on the fence or doing their shopping. It's nice to hear it from not just a sales guy like me, but from somebody who's actually using it live in production every single day and to hear the benefits of what it's bringing to the table for you.
And what I really heard you say a lot today, Shawn, is how Lou's enabled you to streamline your company, which has also enabled you to grow. So those are the two things we're passionate about, is helping small businesses streamline and grow. So again, appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Steve, you've said it to me for years and years. It's all about the customer experience, right? And so if the customer's coming into your showroom and you're fumbling around trying to help them, that's one thing. But if they come into your showroom and you can immediately help them and confidently help them, that goes a lot further. And so that's what we're trying to do, is just improve the customer experience every time they walk in the store.
Right on. Appreciate it. Well, Andrew, what if some other folks out there want to know about Lou? What do they do?
You just reach out to us, lou@evassist.com. Get in touch with us. We can either schedule a personalized one-on-one demo, or we can get your entire team involved and we'll go virtual and we'll do like a virtual presentation of Lou for you. So anybody who's interested, please don't hesitate to reach out. lou@evassist.com is the email. Yeah.
All right.
Perfect. All right. Well, Shawn, it was a pleasure. And everybody else that's at home or at the office, we appreciate you joining us today. And we'll be back next Wednesday. What is that? July 12th or 13th?
13th.
We're already pumping all the way through July. Can you believe it? The holiday's over. The summer's almost over is what it feels like. So hopefully down there in Austin, you have some sunshine, though. It's raining up here in the Pacific Northwest.
Heat. It's hot, hot, hot.
Well, send some our way. We will definitely take it. We're over the gray, rainy skies here. So again, Shawn, we appreciate you joining us. Steve, thank you for being a special guest today. And we'll see you guys next Wednesday for our webinar Wednesdays. All righty. Take care, everybody.